idea of what's going on, so you don't have to really be able to read what's up there. I just pulled this up on my phone to kind of test it. But we've been here before, and how many of you were here before when we did the BeSMART presentation? Just by a show of hands. So do you remember last time when we came here, how we had the things with the sugar and the spoons and everything? So I'll explain quickly what we did last time. And first of all, I'll just go over what BeSMART is really briefly. The B is for believe in God, but we've also made it for brush your teeth and bathe. E is for eating fruits and vegetables, drinking water, choosing the fruit instead of the juice, and eliminating and avoiding soda. The S is for sunshine and air, getting fresh air at least 15 minutes a day. The M is for moderation, self-control in good things and avoiding bad things. A is for action, 30 minutes a day. And R is for rest, for adults being in bed by 10 p.m. And the T is for TV time, limiting your TV time to an hour or less of quality television, and also for telling others about Jesus. So what our focus is going to be today, we're going to stick on that E. And it used to be we were recommending 7 servings of fruits and vegetables, and we found, wow, let's just go with the bare minimum because people are struggling to get to 7. So the government recommends 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. So that's what we are just recommending, to go for at least 5 servings, okay? And we'll talk more about that. But our focus today is really going to be about sugar. And in the past, when we were here, we actually brought items, and I'll start with the food items. We brought items because, you know, as we go through this presentation, we're actually going to learn about what sugar, and when I say sugar, I'm not talking about the good stuff that God put inside of the fruits to make it sweeter, but actually the added sugar, the high fructose corn syrup, and those kind of things like that. So I will tell you that our display is 2 items short. The way we put this together, we went to Walgreens, and actually I went to Walgreens, and I asked one person that was working there, hey, what are the things that people love the most? And next thing you know, this became like a whole game. She called over another person. I had 4 people that work from Walgreens walking around telling me all about the products that people bought the most. So if you see something that you eat here or drink here, don't get mad at us. It's the people at Walgreens. They just told me this is what people like, okay? So what we used to do was we used to show an item, right? And then we would read the label. And then we would see, oh, 39 grams of sugar. And that's in one package, right? And actually, the American Heart Association recommends that adults should only get no more than 6 teaspoons of added sugars per day, okay? I think it's 6 for women, 9 for men, 3 or 4 for kids. I don't know how men get to eat like more sugar. It doesn't make any sense. But the World Health Organization actually recommends just 6 teaspoons per day maximum, right? So if we do the math, what it comes down to is sugars. This says 39 grams. In 1 teaspoon, there are 4 grams of sugar, okay? So something that's 39 grams, just rounded to 40, this should have about 10 teaspoons. So what we used to do was take some actual teaspoons and tape them on here and go, woof, look at this. And you guys would say, ah, whoa, and be completely shocked because it's amazing when you actually turn the label around and do the math. And then we were thinking, we go places and we do this presentation, who actually is flipping stuff over and doing the math in the supermarket? Does anybody do that? Some people do it. But I think that, I mean, we're in the 21st century, there's so much technology, so I thought there has to be an app that can do that, right? There has to be an app that can show you how much sugar is in things, okay? So actually, I looked in the App Store, and the first one I found, I got so excited. I went to push purchase, and it was only available in the UK. And I thought to myself, what are we doing in America, right? The second one I found, I was so excited. I was searching for like hours. I found another one. And then it says that it was only available in Australia. So apparently, this is like a big secret that America's trying to keep from us, okay? But I searched, and then Jesus took the wheel, and in some backdoor way, I found this app. It's called Sugar Rush. It's 2 words, and that's actually my home screen for my iPhone. Now, unfortunately, right now, the app is only available on the iPhone. They said they're working on an Android release. So, like I said, it's okay if we can't see it that well, but it's the first, second, third, it's the fourth row over. If you guys can turn the lights off just so you can see that much. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four down and 4 over, and it has a spoonful of sugar on it, right? So it's called Sugar Rush. So if you have an iPhone, this is definitely something that you want to download. It's a free app. We love free, right? It's a free app. It's definitely something you want to download and you want to share. So what you do with this app is you open it up, right? And it's a very simple app. It comes up with a barcode scanner. And from there, you actually just have to scan the product. All right, can you scan this product? Okay. Once the product is scanned, it's actually going to show you how many teaspoons of sugar are in there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember I said around 10 because it was 39 grams? Just to show you it's accurate. 9.8 teaspoons of sugar in this one package, all right? And remember, if the World Health Organization is saying you should only have 16 spoons per person per day, you've already overdone it in this one package. And here's what I like about this app. Every time you scan something, it'll tell you something. Did you know sugar can contribute to diabetes? Okay, Dr. Rovell, how can sugar contribute to diabetes before I scan another item?
Okay, so when you eat a lot of sugar, not only does it get into your bloodstream and spike your blood sugar in your bloodstream, but that extra sugar is actually stored somehow, and the way it's stored as fat. And when you store sugar as fat, it makes your cells more resistant to insulin. And when your cells are more resistant to insulin, you get what's called type 2 diabetes, which is insulin-resistant diabetes. About 90% of people who have diabetes have insulin resistance, which means, what does that mean? That means that you can actually reverse type 2 diabetes. And I'll give you an example. I may have told this story before of a gentleman who came to the emergency room, and he said he was actually deaf. So he communicated to me that he was here to get his blood sugar checked because it's the middle of the night. He hadn't seen a doctor in like a couple years, and he had been diagnosed with diabetes, had been out of his medication. So we checked his blood sugar, and it was normal. And he gave me this strange look. Are you sure? And I said, yeah, it's normal. And I asked him a couple questions. I said, are you eating differently? What's going on? Are you the same weight? He says, hey, you know what? He lost like about 60 pounds over the last year. And I said, well, that's it. You no longer have type 2 diabetes at this point. And he's like, well, what's going to happen? Will it come back? I said, yes, it would, if your weight goes back up again. So it's very clear that diabetes is a lifestyle-related disease, which means it's dependent on how we eat or whether or not we exercise. And high sugar in the diet predisposes or causes, I would say cause, type 2 diabetes. And it also is not good for type 1 diabetes.
Okay, thank you. Now, I will say that this display that we have going on here, there were 2 other items. One was a Snickers bar, and the other one was peanut M&Ms, and somebody stole both of them at the last place. So we're down 2 things. Hopefully, everything else makes it home today, all right? And I'm thinking it was some kids walking by and didn't understand what was going on. So anyway, the next one I have here is I asked them, which cookies do people eat? And again, if you don't like Oreos and you see what's about to happen up here, we don't want you to say, oh, good, I eat Chips Ahoy, I'm fine, right? Because cookies are cookies. So I'm gonna go back on this app, and if you guys just came in, this app is called Sugar Rush. It allows you to scan items in the supermarket and show you how much sugar is in these different items. All right. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're thinking 3.5, you're right. But here's the thing. In one serving, so I took out what's equivalent to one serving. That's just 3 cookies, okay? Because in this package, there are 3 servings, okay? So what's happened nowadays is the labeling companies have been called on their deceit, because what they're showing you is just one serving, which, like I said, is actually, there's 3.5 teaspoons of added sugar in just 3 cookies, right? So the labeling companies have been told that they must start representing the entire amount of sugar on the packages. But it's going to be a process. It may take a year or 2 years, but they will start showing that. And what I see down here is that it says sugar can induce cell death. All right? So how can sugar induce cell death?
Well, sugar can induce cell death. I can think of one way. So let's say you have diabetes, okay? Anybody ever heard of diabetic neuropathy? Anybody ever heard of atherosclerosis? Okay, so we talked about when you eat too much sugar, it gets converted as a blood fat and it gets stored in the liver. Well, that blood fat circling around also patches your blood vessels if there's an injury. And if it patches your blood vessels if there's an injury, and you keep injuring it, then you get narrowing of your blood vessels, a process called atherosclerosis. And so if there's less blood flow to tissue, guess what happens? That tissue starts to die. The number one cause of amputations in America is not your foot getting run over by a car, it's from diabetes. I see it every day. And you get a condition called gangrene. And a lot of times people think, oh, I'm going to get gangrene and it's going to be poisonous and I'm going to die. Well, that's what we call wet gangrene in medicine. People get what's called dry gangrene, where it just kind of slowly kills that your toe, and it gets dark and dried up and painful, and then it's not painful anymore because it's dead. So again, these are extreme cases, and it's very simple. If we were to back off all the sugary foods and start eating the foods that we were intended to eat, the non-processed foods, you know, if you could eat what you grew, if you could eat stuff like it looked on the tree before it gets processed, that'd be a lot better for us.
All right, so again, if we look at those serving things, if we actually ate the whole package, you'd actually be getting 10.5 teaspoons of sugar in that entire packet, all right? So let me scan a few more things here. I don't know, they said kids like these Sour Patch Kids, right? See, somebody said yes, it's true. All right, let's scan these and see how it goes. And again, if you just came in, this app is called Sugar Rush. And right now it's available on the iPhones, and they are working on getting it on the Android. So this says 6.5 teaspoons. Again, we're talking about, can you multiply that by 2.5? Because that's just for 16 pieces, okay? This box has 16 pieces times 2.5. So we're talking about if a kid were to eat this entire thing, which they do, they would get 16.25 teaspoons of sugar in this one thing, okay? All right, now another one I'm gonna show you, and actually this is something I started to show this morning. And there is, we have more than just a burger and fries, actually. All right, so you guys saw the McDonald's fries from this morning that are 10 years old, okay? And we'll leave this stuff out. If you want to come and see it afterwards, just leave them out there. And I showed you guys the donut, right? And this one's actually a school lunch donut. So I'm encouraging you, if you have children that are in public schools, the best you can, bring their lunch from home, pack their lunch, all right? Then we have the cheeseburger from this morning also, okay? And this was the cheeseburger that's just been sitting there. It's 10 years old again, all right? This is like a museum that's been going on for years. And this is the sausage egg McMuffin, all right? This is Exhibit D that I'll put up here. And if you do come by and you want to touch these things, don't squeeze them, please, because they will break. And you have the chicken McNugget that is just as old as everything else. So when you guys think about eating food, think about actual food that grows from plants and trees. This one is a peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable. It's not as old as the other ones. This one, I don't know. This one's got to be between 5 and 7 years old, though. Let me think about it. Yeah, about 5 years old at least, all right? So we have the peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable, all perfectly preserved. Oh, and I'll just put this one out here. This is like the entire box of Krispy Kreme donuts. And if I were to open this, this stuff just looks like chalk, all right? Looks like chalk, but there's no mold, nothing like that. Now, those are just some foods, and I actually took out one of the Krispy Kreme donuts here, so I'll open that up for display if you'd like to walk by afterwards and take a look at that. All right, now those are just some common foods that are full of sugar. Now there's also drinks. So I asked the people in Walgreens again, this one's last, what kind of stuff are people drinking? And this was one of them, this Arizona real brewed sweet tea, okay? So we're gonna scan this and see how much sugar is in it. That's a serving? It's not one serving. Oh, no, it's not up there. You gotta plug it in and plug it on the bottom. Right, so this one right here is actually 3 servings, right? So it's telling me whatever number comes up there, I'm gonna have to multiply it by 3. Let's see if it wants to come up there or not. All right, I'll work with this. Okay, so we have a few items that we're going to show. All right, and while we get that one back to going, another cool thing this app does, and I will get it to work in a minute, is it actually allows you to, if you don't have an item, you can actually just shake it. And when you shake it, it comes up with something random. For instance, just now it came up with M&M peanut candies, right? 6.2 teaspoons of added sugar. And this one says, did you know sugar can lead to obesity?
Well, we already know why that happens, right? Because, again, what do you do with extra sugar? Gets stored as fat, yeah. See, the body is very intelligent. When you get extra calories, your body thinks that we need to store those extra calories because there could be a famine coming. You know, we have a regular food supply, so no famine is coming. So it gets stored as fat. And sugar is just a very easy way, a diet high in sugar is a very easy way for you to store fat. So you tend to gain weight. Grace had mentioned if you eat 1 donut a day, you can put on 30 pounds in a year. That's if you did everything else exactly the same. So sugar does lead to weight gain and obesity. Sugar also leads to a condition called gout. All right, it's anybody here have gout? You know, if you have gout, people tell you there's certain proteins, certain things that you shouldn't drink or eat, and I always tell them stay away from refined sugars. Stay away from refined sugars. You'll have less gout attacks. Are there any questions? Yes. Yeah, gout is a type of arthritis that certain people can get. Classically, it happens in the joint of the big toe, and it's very painful. The joint gets red, hot, swollen, very tender. People are often limping when they have it, and people can get attacks. They can not have it for years and then all of a sudden get it. Some people get it very frequently, and a lot of the problems that we have are sort of diet related. So as the lady in the, what's the children's story today, God has a plan. God has a plan for our lives, and that includes our diet. And, you know, the Bible doesn't say do not eat sugar, but the Bible encourages us to eat a whole food, plant-based diet. And anything that is processed, anything that's in a package, you have to be a little, not saying they're all bad, but you have to be a little bit suspicious. While they're trying that out, I'm going to tell you, are you ready? All right, I'll tell you the story afterwards.
All right, thanks. Okay, so I just scanned this sweet tea, and again, whatever number we come up with, we have to multiply it by 3, okay? So that's 5.8 teaspoons in just 1 serving, which is about 6. So if you were to drink this whole thing, you're talking about 18 teaspoons of sugar, okay? 17.4 to be exact, all right? Let's go, what's that one say? Oh, okay, that's okay. Let's go to these energy drinks right here, okay? All right, and I just picked up one of these Munsters. They say people like this, okay? And this is actually 2 servings. So they haven't gotten to the honest labeling techniques yet. So whatever number we come up with, again, we have to multiply it by 2, all right? And that's just in one thing. All right, let's go back again. 13.6 teaspoons total. And I know that some people like to eat these Frappuccino and all these kind of different things from Starbucks or drink these, so they said these are popular. All right, so this is a Starbucks Frappuccino. And let's see how many servings this one is. Whatever you see is what you get on this one. What you see is what you get, because one bottle is 1 serving size. And remember, again, the World Health Organization says just up to 6 teaspoons a day, and we're almost doubling it right here, all right? Now let's get to something like one of these sports drinks. People like these. This way? Well, they're good for the people that work for Gatorade, because they are the ones who are benefiting the most. If I read you these ingredients, it seems like I need to have an advanced degree in some sort of biochemistry. All right, so that's per serving. Now I'm gonna have to multiply that by 2.5, okay? And what I'm gonna come up with is 13 teaspoons of sugar in one of these things. So does that really quench your thirst? No. It will probably make you thirstier. Yes? Yeah, that's it, water. Water, we always say, is the choice of champions. When I played professional basketball, I mean, we used to drink something that looked like it was Gatorade because it was an orange flavored, like an orange colored thing. But what it was a big cooler of water, a huge cooler of water, and they take like this one little cup and dump it in there to make us feel like we were getting something flavored. But I found that there's nothing that works like water as far as replenishing your energy, quenching your thirst. All of the other things are actually really big sales gimmicks. When they talk about electrolytes and things like that, yes, sir? Yes. All right, so you've given us a solution, which is blending fruit. What would you say if someone was craving the flavor but still wanted to make a healthy choice? What would you say?
I mean, eating fruit is, you can eat a fruit salad, that's 90% water. Fruit is actually 90% water. So if you're eating fruit, you're actually hydrating yourself. If you want to do a smoothie, you could do that as well because it still has the fiber. Fiber is very important when you're talking about anything that has sugar, glucose, fructose. Fiber is very important because what does fiber do? Fiber slows down the absorption of sugar into your system. So your blood sugar doesn't spike. You don't have these spikes that goes up and then crashes down. It just slowly goes up and stays up there. So you could eat fruit or you could make a smoothie. I would stay away from juices as much as possible because juices are liquid sugar. And it's going to give you, even though it's natural, it's going to give you very similar effects that, as all of these sugary things. There's a guy, you can Google it, his name is Walter Willett. He's a Harvard professor, and he's studied this over and over again because people think, I'm drinking orange juice, I am doing really well, but you're getting the fluid, but you're not getting any of the fiber. It's kind of processed, you're not getting like the fresh nutrients from the orange. So I encourage you to eat the orange, and you know that white stuff that's around the orange as well? Eat that too, because that's going to slow down the absorption, and it also is something that helps to boost your immune system. So as we say, eat the fruit and nothing but eat the, you guys are sleeping. Eat the whole and nothing but, all right.
And the last part of that, so help you God, that's the way to do it. Because you're right, whenever you're making any kind of dietary change, whether it be with foods or liquids, it is something that you are going to need divine intervention to be able to do effectively. So praying before you start making these kind of choices, just know that God can empower you to change things immediately. He can change your taste buds right now. It can happen. All right, so let's go to another one. Coca-Cola, this is how many ounces is this? 20 ounce, all right? Now they're actually doing the honest labeling here. So what you see is what you get. The serving size is 1 bottle. And I'll just read the ingredients while you're waiting on that. Carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, caramel color, phosphoric acid, natural colors, and caffeine. Oh, it's done finally? All right, so one of these things, 20 ounce of Coca-Cola, and this is just like those donuts again. I mean, you just add one of these to your diet every day and you will be 30 pounds heavier at the end of the year. So what that tells me, if I can do backwards mathematics, eliminate this from your diet and you could lose a whole lot of weight in 1 year. Now right there it says sugar can cause arthritis. What do you know about that?
Well, you know, we already talked about that. Sugar, it sort of affects your immune system, and it leads to that gout arthritis that we talked about. I'm not real sure the exact mechanism, but again, it's you get increasing bouts of gout arthritis, and it also affects your joints as well. When you think about it, when you think about atherosclerosis, we mentioned that already, the connection between sugar, increased blood fats, and then narrowing of the blood vessels. Well, you've got blood vessels that go to your joints. Blood vessels go everywhere. So that's why people who are diabetic, and you're talking about the effects of sugar, people who are diabetic, they get arthritis, they get heart disease, they get this thing called diabetic neuropathy where the nerves don't function well. So it affects every part of your body. And we're seeing more and more people with diabetes. The story I was going to tell you before I sat down the last time was we just came back from a mission trip to Guatemala. And we were up in the mountains in kind of a remote area where we were taking care of people who are Mayan, the indigenous people of Guatemala. Very fascinating. The women are about 4'9" to 4'11", and looked like a giant standing next to them. And I think the tallest man we saw was about 5'5". And so they came to the clinic. We saw 914 people in that clinic in the period of about 4 days or so. And I went through all the records. We saw only 3 people with diabetes. Because we did blood glucose. We checked everyone that came to that clinic. We checked their blood glucose. Now that is an amazing number because we've been to the Caribbean over and over again over the last 20 years, and the rates of diabetes have kept increasing to the point now where probably at least 20% to a quarter of the people coming to those clinics have diabetes. And we're seeing on average 1,000 people every time we go on a mission trip, sometimes 1,000 to 1,500. So, you know, I asked one of our translators, you know, why do you think these people have such low rates of diabetes, high blood pressure? And he's like, well, they don't eat like we do in the city. I said, what do you mean? He said, quote, they eat what they grow, unquote. And then he said, they walk everywhere. So health is simple. If you don't remember anything else we said today, eat what you grow. Does that mean you need to become a farmer? Not necessarily. Eat what you grow means eat unprocessed foods. Eat lots of fruit, lots of vegetables, lots of unpackaged foods, lots of foods that if you left them out and the air hit them and they get oxidized, they won't turn into that, but they'll actually spoil. Things that spoil when they're left out are actually good for you to eat because it means that there's a date, an expiration date that's not far in the future, but right now. And those are the things you need to be eating. Yes, ma'am. They're handing you a mic.
So I have some friends who are hardcore caffeine people, like the Coca-Cola and the, Frappuccino.
Yeah.
If they don't drink it, they actually get very groggy and miserable and they can't function. So Is there a midway for them to go cook? Because cold turkey will get them these symptoms.
Right.
So, what's your suggestion for them?
Well, here's the thing. You could either like try to wean yourself off. That often doesn't work because caffeine is basically a drug, or you could quit cold turkey, and you're going to get headaches and be irritable and snapping at people for about a couple weeks. But then guess what? You'll be fine. Like any drug that leaves your system, after a while, you're going to recover. Your body is incredibly, wonderfully made. Fearfully and wonderfully made. I've seen it. I've seen people who are quote unquote unhealthy become healthier than me, and I'm thinking I'm a pretty healthy person, by just doing what they should be doing. Yes, ma'am, you had a question?
Really good, better, or the dark sugar is better, or is the same as the refined sugar?
Well, sugar, to me, sugar is sugar.
Sugar is sugar.
Yeah,
Now,
it's so basically you've stripped. Okay, let's say you take banana. Banana has fiber and nutrients and everything, and then you get the sugar out of the banana, whether it's brown or white or whether it's cane sugar or whatever sugar. Sugar is sugar is sugar. It's stripped of nutrients, and it doesn't have the positive effect that it would have when it's attached to fiber. So people say brown sugar, white sugar.
what about molasses?
Molasses?
Yes.
Molasses does have more nutrients than sugar. So it's probably better for you than regular sugar. But again, it's not something you want to be eating a lot of.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a last question, and
Yeah.
that is, even though apples are so sweet fruits, if you leave an apple forgotten somewhere, it lasts a long time. What is it? Why they last so long?
Why do apples last so long? I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe they're spraying them with stuff. You know, it's I have no idea. But the thing about the apple just reminds me of something. If you eat how many of you can eat 10 apples at one sitting? How many of you can eat 10 apples at one sitting? You can eat 10 apples with peanut butter? So you can sit down and eat 10 apples in an hour with peanut butter. Really? Okay, yeah, we need to make some money off of you because that's amazing. So when you eat an apple, you actually feel full. So you can eat maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 apples, the average person, except our friend back here, and you will feel full. How many people can drink that bottle of apple juice that you buy in the store and just sort of drink it off at one meal, and then maybe for dinner drink another bottle? We all can. She can do all things. She can do that too. That's easy because all of us can. We're not amazed at that. All of us can do that. So again, the fiber makes you feel full, and foods that are high in fiber are what we should be eating, especially if we're concerned about weight gain and we want to lose weight.
All right, I'm going to show you guys one more thing. This is the grand finale for this. And if you just came in, this app is called Sugar Rush. It's a free app if you have an iPhone. This is Mountain Dew, and I'll tell you right now, don't do the dew, okay? This is some really dangerous stuff. So if you have an iPhone, it's a free app, Sugar Rush, 2 words. And if you don't have an iPhone and you have an Android, they are working on coming up with an Android version. So you can go to the supermarket, you can scan items, and they have most items in their database. There you go. 19.2 teaspoons of added sugars. All right, that is 1 bottle and over 3 times what they recommend, which the World Health Organization says less than 6 grams of added sugars per day. So, like we said before, eat the fruit, the whole fruit, nothing but the fruit, so help you God. That's the safest way. There's one more thing we want to show you, actually 2 more things we want to show you before our time is up here. And again, that app is called Sugar Rush. If you go over 4 and down 4, it's the one with the teaspoon of sugar. Now, if you look to the left of that app, this is another free resource that you have access to in the Android Play Store, App Store. It's called Up, Jawbone Up. The A and B Smart is for action, and we're encouraging you to exercise, and they recommend that adults take at least 10,000 steps a day, which is equivalent to 5 miles. Sounds like a lot, but it really isn't if you take 30 minutes to get intentional exercise every day, okay? So if you were to exercise and go out and walk for 30 to 40 minutes and just live the rest of your life, as long as you're not sitting on the couch all day long, you will get to 10,000 steps. So this app right here, all right, I'm gonna show you yesterday because I was much better yesterday than I was today. All right, so this actually can show you, it's a free app that can track your steps and track your sleep, okay? All you have to do is go into the App Store and type in UP, U-P. When you type that in, you wanna get the purple one because the purple one allows you to use your phone as a tracker. I have a fitness tracker. We can talk to you about that afterwards if you want. But if you have your phone with you everywhere, you may as well make some good use of it, okay? Let it track your steps. So what this is telling me is that yesterday, I went 101%, which means I got a little over my 10,000 steps, and my sleep goal, I set it to 7 hours because we're recommending 7 to 9 hours of sleep per day, okay? And 7's the minimum, so I just made the cut right there. What this app also does, which is great, it actually breaks down your quality of sleep. So we're recommending that you get to bed by 10 o'clock p.m. for adults and 8 o'clock for kids, okay? So you can see that orange bar. I actually was in bed by 10 o'clock at 9:53, but I didn't fall directly asleep. I was up reading, whatever. So the taller bars represent my sound sleep, and the lighter bars represent my light sleep, okay? What's the difference between sound sleep and light sleep, and what can I do to get more sound sleep?
All right, so sound sleep, you consolidate memory, you build muscle, and what else? Well, those are two very important things. If you want to grow as a child, and if you want to build muscle as a weightlifter, and if you want to remember what you've studied, those are two things that occur. You can get some sunlight. Sunlight actually helps you rest. And this sounds crazy, but guess what? Rest helps you rest. When you go to bed early, you get more melatonin. Your body actually makes this thing that you can buy at the health food store. Your body makes it. And the earlier you go to bed, the more it makes, the more relaxed you feel, the less anxiety you have, and the easier it is for you to go to sleep. So stop staying up late at night looking at stuff that you're not going to remember. Go to bed early.
All right, so what we brought here is we have options for you. And again, there's an app. We actually came up with an app a few weeks ago that puts kind of all our BeSMART stuff in one place. It's free in the App Store. Yes, sir. Okay, the one called Up? Okay. Oh, I actually wear a fitness tracker, so I wear it while I sleep. Oh, it won't work. You have to have the actual tracker to have your sleep monitored, and that's an option. But just to get your steps, you can do that with your phone, because that's a good thing you brought up. You can do that with your phone, and that won't cost you anything. Or you have to buy anything extra. So I'm gonna go back to the BeSMART app, because we kind of put everything in one place to try to make it easy. You just go to your app store, you type in BeSMART 365, because you want to be smart every day of the year. And what we put in there was something called Get Your Checkup. And I try to take that test every day. It just asks you 10 questions, and it gives you a percentage at the end. And if you can score 100%, that means you've been really smart about your health, and you've taken the best care of the body that God gave you. The one, I Love Zumba, you'll find Ann with all Christian music doing great Zumba routines. I wake up in the morning and I do like 5 or 6 of those songs. And then after that, I go over to the one that says workouts. And we are encouraging you to join us tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. We have a great workout plan for you. Nothing we do takes more than 20 minutes, the actual workout. We actually brought some exercise DVDs that we're going to pass around so you can kind of get a preview or check out the kind of stuff we do. So workouts is another section, and we actually have something called Boogie Breaks, which we release for the public school system. Again, 3 to 5 minute videos that are all health-oriented and health-geared. And Boogie Breaks are great for kids. So if you want the kids to get that message, we use all contemporary music. We pick songs, we change the lyrics. You want kids to get that message and get into health, Boogie Breaks are great. We have karaoke, And the karaoke is actually Christmas songs. So at Christmas time, if we don't see you before then, I rewrote a whole lot of Christmas songs and put them on there. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer becomes Jesus our Lord and Savior. And we also have a music section where we have an artist that we collaborate with and allows us to rewrite the lyrics to his songs and gear them toward health. So those are just free resources. So you've gotten 3 things that you can take back with you today. If you have a smartphone, we have the one called Sugar Rush, the one called Up, which you can track your steps. If you do decide to join the Up community, remember you're looking for the purple app. And if you find that, you can actually make us your friend, and then you can see what we're doing and we can encourage you, and you can see what we're doing and so on and so forth. So those 3 things is what we want to leave with you today in the exercise DVD. Please do come out tomorrow at 10 o'clock. The workout will be fun, and it will be only 20 minutes. And it will be well worth your time because you'll get lots of ideas of things you can do at home. Yes, ma'am? Okay, and if you use MyFitnessPal, you can actually link that to Jawbone Up, and it will update everyone on the great things you're doing. Because one cool thing is about this fitness app is having a community of accountability. So when people can see what you're doing and you can see what they're doing, it propels you to do better. Okay, so what we have on our app, we have about 100. If you make me your friend, you'll find that there's 180 people that are also my friend, because we have different communities within the churches, within the schools, within our whole town that are a part of this movement. So it'd be great if Plantation, you guys get together and do something there and get up and get moving.
All right, we thank you for your time this afternoon. We really wanted to bring awareness, particularly about the ill effects of sugar, and it's everywhere. And we have so many companies that are making money off of sugar, and our health is being compromised. Is that not true? Oh, I'm sorry, my husband is making money off of the fact that that our citizens, that Americans consume so much sugar. I want to say thank you, but not really. You know, yeah. So let's try to put him out of business and only see him at church to say hi instead of at his office or in the ER. Amen? Amen. All righty, we thank you for your time. It's 6:30 and we need to start our next program. I just want to pray with you for one moment. Heavenly Father, we thank you once more that we were able to learn more about the wonderful benefits of having good nutrition, good diet, rest, all the different health principles, drinking water, socializing with our friends and family, walking, just the different things that you place in the Garden of Eden for us. Be with us now, Lord, as we absorb and internalize all the messages that we received today. Let us make a change, a positive change that will affect our health for the better. Be with every member of this church, and as we move into the next segment of the program, help us to be faithful in every little thing so we can be faithful in the big things that you give to us. Amen.
All right, folks. Did you all enjoy that? Was that really very informative and very good? All right, let's give the BeSMART team a big round of applause again. It's amazing when they scan these items and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize that much sugar in them. Yeah, because every once in a while you're like, okay, you just drink these things down and not realizing how much sugar you're getting in just one drink. But we want to thank you guys so much. And remember, guys, I want to encourage you all, just come by tomorrow morning. We are in the parking lot every Sunday morning, unless there's a holiday or something is going on. But tomorrow morning is very special. Just come by, join us for 20 to 30 minutes, and you'll feel well refreshed the face, whatever you go throughout the week, right? So thank you all. Remember, the rest of the afternoon, after the Doug Bachelor we're going to do now, and then after that, in the fellowship hall, we have Forks Over Knives. So stay with us for the entire evening. All right, thank you all.
All right, we're actually going to move into the fellowship hall for the Doug Bachelor program, and I have the study guides. He goes through a question and answer style of his prophecy lectures. Is anyone here interested in getting it? I can give you guys the study guides. There's amazing stuff on here you can follow through. So let me go ahead and get those handed out, and then we're going to move into the fellowship hall. And then my next question is, if I'm not mistaken, hopefully it hasn't changed, is there food after this, in between still? Okay, so there will be refreshments in between the Doug Batchelor program and forks over knives, after knives. So, all right, so I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go down and stand in the fellowship hall. As you guys come in, I'll hand out these study guides for you, okay? And we're gonna get it started within the next 2-3 minutes. We just wanna move right